Hi, MS. This is Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com. I'm looking at the email right now. So you did a speaking practice test on whether or not social media does more harm than good. And I think you're taking the position that it does do more harm. So let's look at your question here. You say, I also have a question for you. I was trying to watch some model speaking response videos on your website like you recommended. But when I clicked on the link, it said private video. I wasn't able to open them. Would you mind to tell me how I can open them or where I can look for ones so I can start practicing shadowing? Okay, so send me the link. I do have a lot of those videos. I've scheduled them to open, but I think I've scheduled them to open next year. But if there's any of them that you want to view right now, I'll open them. So maybe send me a quick link to what videos you want to view, and I'll change them or publish them right now for you. Let's listen to your practice test now. So I have the actual independent speaking rubrics here on the left. I have your response on the right. Okay, so let's listen to the whole thing one time with no comments. I'll give you my first impressions, then I'll listen to it again.
I support the claim that social media do more harm than good as it negatively impacts the true meaningful communication between family members. First of all, social media ruined the brains of our children. Unfortunately, is so harmful to them. I remember one day I just entered the room and I found my child who just turned 7 watching a nonsense video. In that video, a little child was sneaking into his parents' room and he broke the closet and then went outside and was so happy that he did this without being noticed. What kind of content is this? Back in the days, children would spend their time with their parents, visiting other family members, going to grandparents, great-grandparents, visiting friends, traveling, spending time with nature, which is completely ruined now.
Wow, boy, you got a lot of information in there. My goodness. That is a lot of substance. I like the example you gave of the video that your child watched. I think that helps support the argument. Okay, let's take a look at the rubrics. I'm seeing them right now. So I like to look at it in the 3 range. Do I want to go higher or lower than 3, right? So you got delivery, language use, and topic development. I think that I'm thinking you're pretty close to where you were yesterday. So I'm going to say 24 to 26 points. I think you have a generally well-paced flow. My only concern is maybe from one sentence to the next, I think you might need a little bit of a longer pause. So when you get to the end of the sentence, your tone falls, and then you have a quick pause, maybe 0.1, 0.2 seconds. Then you're going to move on to the next idea. So maybe a little bit longer pauses from one sentence to the next. Language use, I think you have good control of it, but still you tend to be on the more basic side when it comes to vocabulary and grammar. Topic development, I think you have a pretty good connection of ideas, but I might comment more on this when I listen to it again. So let's listen to the beginning.
I support the claim that social media do more harm than good as it negatively impacts the true meaningful communication between family members. First of all, social...
So yeah, you need a longer pause from that first to that second sentence. Believe it or not, I'm telling you to slow down a little bit. Usually it's the opposite for most international students. And I was wondering about social media, and does social media do or social media does? It sounds odd to say social media do. However, media is actually plural. Medium is singular. So even though many native speakers say social media does more harm than good, I think that you are grammatically correct by saying social media do more harm than good. As weird as it sounds, you're correct. But I just want to let you know, if you said does, I don't think anybody's going to bother you if you say does, but what you're saying is correct. Now, anybody at YouTube, do you agree or disagree with me? Put your comments, put your feedback in the comments below this video. Okay, so you have a good introduction. Let's do it one more time.
I support the claim that social media do more harm than good as it negatively impacts the true meaningful communication between family members. First of all, social media ruined the brains of our children.
It ruined the brain of, because social media. Now the question is, what are some synonyms? See if I can give you synonyms for social media, because you want to avoid repeating the same word too many times. Let's see if I can give you some ideas here. Okay, so this is important. So you don't want to just say social media over and over and over. You can say online platforms, digital media, networking sites, social media platforms, digital communication tools, online communities, interactive media. So I would be careful about referring to or using the same vocabulary words too many times.
Unfortunately, is so harmful to them. I remember one day
Let's go back to this, what you just said there.
Communication between family members. First of all, social media ruins
so
the
between
brains
family
of our
members. So make sure when you get to the end of this sentence, your tone needs to fall. Now, if you pause at the end of a non-final thought group, your tone's going to go up slightly, right? But so I think you can adjust your tone a little bit more than what you are there.
Children, unfortunately, is so harmful to them. I remember one day I just entered the room and I found my child who just turned 7 watching a nonsense video.
Watching a what? Watching a...
And I found my child who just turned 7 watching a nonsense video.
Do you want to say watching an uncensored video? So that's kind of an issue there. I'm not quite sure. At about 20 to 22 seconds, that word in there, I'm not 100% sure what you're trying to say there.
That video, a little child was sneaking into his parents' room and he broke the closet and then went outside and was so happy.
He broke the closet. That's not good word choice there. That's a language use problem. Now, are you saying that he broke into the closet, or the parents had locked the closet, but the boy was able to break into it to get some toys or things out of there that his parents didn't want him to have? So this is language use. This is a 3, unfortunately. It says response may exhibit some imprecise or inaccurate use of vocabulary or grammar. So when I listened to how you said that,
he broke the closet.
Typically, he didn't break the closet. Break the closet means he broke the entire thing. How did he do that? With a sledgehammer? I don't think that's really what you mean there. So it says, this may affect overall fluency, but it doesn't interfere with the communication of the message. So I know what you're trying to say. Maybe he broke into the closet to get something out of there that his parents didn't want him to have. Maybe that's what you're trying to say, but you could not fully explain that idea. So I think because of that, those few seconds of the response, language use is probably closer to 3.
Outside and was so happy that he did this without being noticed. What kind of content is this?
So he was so happy that he did this. But when you say he was so happy that he did this, however, what kind of content is this? What kind of content is he watching? So I think you need to do a little bit better on the stress there. You need to show some frustration in your tone there as you explain that idea. And after you explain what the child did, you need a little bit longer pause for more drama. And then you can say that last sentence there.
Children would spend their time with their parents, visiting other family members, going to grandparents, great-grandparents, visiting friends,
Now,
going
this is actually
traveling,
pretty
spending.
good at the end there. You're using a lot of gerund phrases in there and you're using them correctly. So that definitely shows a lot of control over your language use, what I'm hearing right here.
Parents, great-grandparents, visiting friends.
Now,
Kind
what
of
kind of
content is
content
this?
is this? I would probably say it something like, what kind of content is this? Something like that. And that's going to really convey what you're trying to say there. So remember that in English, we communicate our tone through the sentences, not just through words.
Back in the days, children would spend their time with their parents, visiting other family members, going to grandparents, great-grandparents, visiting friends, going traveling, spending time with nature, which is completely ruined now.
Which has been completely, how about which has been, maybe which is completely ruined now? I guess you can say completely is completely ruined, or which has been. Either way, present or the past present perfect verb tense will work in that case. Okay, let's take a look at the rubrics now. So I'm looking over here. Yeah, I think near the middle of it, when you were talking about the child breaking in, I think to the breaking into the closet, that's the area I think that's going to bring this score down below 26. And you're also, I think you need to do a little bit better with your tone, with your intonation. And if you go over to my YouTube channel, check out I have a playlist I created for pronunciation. And in the playlist, I have 5 different videos on intonation. And I think it's something around 36 through 40 lessons. But look at the accent reduction program for American English, right? Look for the videos on intonation. I think you can definitely improve by studying in those areas. I think that's going to be good. All right, so I'm thinking on this one, you're probably around 3 to 3.3 or so on language use. I think you're a little bit lower on the language use end on this one. With delivery, I'm going to say 3 to 3.5. Topic development, the one thing I'd like you to do here is maybe use more transition words to help show the connection of your ideas, but your development, it's not limited in any way. So where it says in 4, it is generally well developed and coherent. You're well developed, especially with the example that you showed of your child watching a video on social media. I think that gave your response a lot of depth, and that's good, right? So I'm gonna put your score here. I think I'm gonna go a little bit lower here, 22 to 24 points out of 30 on this practice test for some of the reasons I just explained.